It seems the embattled Eskom team's rescue efforts, the management team's rescue efforts, are beginning to bear fruit. The power utility revealed yesterday that it's made over 9 billion rand in profit. That's an interim profit in the past 6 months, signaling a major improvement compared to last year. But despite those previous results, or positive results, load shedding is still imminent in the future. To help us take a look at the utility's strides toward attaining stability, let's speak now to former NERSA Regulator and Member responsible for electricity generation, Mr. Thembani Bukula. A very good evening to you, sir. Welcome to News at Prime. So, positive indications from Eskom at this early stage, but still a long way to go, yes?
Yes, that's true. Good evening. The improvements that they have made are very positive improvements. When you see the debt burden being reduced and you see the revenue increasing, yes, I know it's half yearly and at the end of the year they'll still make a loss, but all of the good indicators are showing green at this stage. And yet, if you look in the past, even by this stage of the interim results, you would see a lot of reds in the important indicators.
The immediate worry, I mean, there's no load shedding expected for the rest of December, but Eskom is concerned that the decision by the country's pollution watchdog to deny it permission to pollute above the acceptable levels will in fact lead to the switching off of some of its coal-fired capacity. Do you expect that to worsen the load shedding situation into 2022?
It may worsen it if the others that are being switched off then affect the others that have not been switched off, or once the others are switched off, the ones that are operating have breakdowns. It will affect it. But I expect that this has been long coming. I expect Eskom to have a better plan to manage this, even with those that will be switched off due to environmental constraints.
I'm glad you mentioned the idea of a good plan, because in some of the reaction people have said, well, the refusal to give Eskom this permission and it flagging the fact that this will force it to shut down some of its coal-powered capacity is a convenient excuse to explain load shedding going forward.
It would have to be correct when you say it like that, because it's already been known. I mean, it's been years, it's more than 10 years that it's been known that some of the Eskom power stations that are breaching the environmental constraints that have been placed need to either be improved, and they were given money to improve other power stations, and those that cannot be economically improved, then they have to be shut down.
And these power stations, many of them have been built in the last decade, almost 2 decades, at great cost, in the billions now. How should the public view the fact that many of them are really not contributing significantly, if at all, to current generation?
The 2 power stations that have been built in the last decade are contributing to this. Yes, they are not contributing at their full design capacity, but they are making a contribution to that. What is then required by Eskom is for them to continue to improve the performance of the new power stations, that is Dupi and Kusile, because Ngula is still contributing to supplying us power at peak loads, at peak times.
And, you know, you and I was talking about the environment a short time ago. We've recently come out of the COP26 summit in Glasgow, where some of the countries were unhappy because there was a watered-down declaration as far as coal, not phasing it out, but phasing it down. For a country such as South Africa, how possible is it to go completely coal-free by 2030, 2050 even, as per some targets?
2050 would be a reasonable target, and I still think that we won't go completely coal-free. Even the countries that have gone on this, your Germanys, your USAs, and the others, still have coal-fired power plants that, yes, are done in a manner that is environmentally friendly and to support the rest of the grid. But 2050 is a long enough target for us to get to that, and I'm sure the prices by then would be appropriate for us to completely eradicate coal.
Quick final one. Eskom has been, in the last 2 years or so, cutting off power to municipalities and defaulting consumers. Do you think that is the best strategy if it really wants to cut down or bring down significantly the amount of consumer debt?
I probably would not pronounce on that, but generally, when a customer is not paying you and you continue to supply it with whatever product you are producing, it is an industry norm to say that one who doesn't pay mustn't get the power and the one who pays must get the power.
Mr. Thembani Bukula, grateful for your time, so enjoy the rest of your public holiday.
Thank you.